Awe. What can I tell you? Oh, those degenerates. The problem with the NCR is the way they flaunt their values of democracy and dedication to the rule of law. But these values require a basic level of human goodness to work. I don't know if that existed before the war, but it's sure not in the wasteland. The only way to survive in this world is to act in your own self-interest. If you don't, you're going to get exploited and probably killed. The reality is that democracy dropped the bombs, and if the NCR rebuilds the world on democratic values, there will just be another war. Now, I'm not oblivious like some of the other Legionnaires. I know the NCR isn't full of bad people, but it's not full of good people either. And if the NCR is allowed to take power, they will build the foundation of the new world with the blueprint for its own destruction. The bottom line is that if you choose to attack the NCR, I'll kill them all with you. What can I tell you? To attack the Legion in this part of the Mojave by yourself means you've got a goddamn death wish. But these days, my loyalties to the Legion aren't the strongest they've ever been. Maybe some other time. Yeah, you're right. You know, I can live with what I've done, but sharing the story with you, it might bring catharsis. After the Legion lost the battle at Hoover Dam, we had to pull back to the east side of the Colorado. As we refocused our efforts and retrained our armies, we began looking for alternate portals of entry into the west side of the river. Our main goal was to find a way to surround the NCR the next time we attacked the dam and hit them from behind, make them fight from both sides. It seemed the NCR had anticipated such a move and had fortified positions all along the west shore of the river. But when we discovered Cottonwood Cove, we thought we were lucky and had found a place the NCR had overlooked. It was tucked away in the low elevation of the valley, and it even had docks to ease our entry, so we moved in. We soon discovered that there was an NCR sniper dug in deep in the mountains above. He started picking us off one by one. If we had remained there, he would have decimated our numbers. Since we couldn't scale the cliffs or safely push forward, we had to pull back. When word got to Caesar that we had retreated from Cottonwood Cove due to a single NCR sniper, he was furious. He told our commanding centurion, Aurelius, that if we did not move back in and secure the area, his final home would be on a Legion cross. So, Aurelius gathered some of the veteran Legionnaires and I to discuss a means by which we might be able to remove the sniper. I volunteered to walk up to the sniper alone and unarmed. I suggested we offer him sanction in the Legion and a place in our ranks. He could have trained our snipers and taught all Legionnaires how to deal with NCR sharpshooters. But Aurelius accused me of blasphemy for suggesting such an allegiance with a member of the enemy. As punishment, he commanded me to lead the Legion move into Cottonwood Cove. He had devised a sinister plan of attack. The plan involved 2 slaves. We would dress the first slave as a settler, tell him he was being freed, and send him on his way up the beach. The second slave would be dressed as a Legionnaire. We would tell him that if he caught and killed the first slave, he would be freed instead. We then released the slaves from across the river and prepared ourselves to attack. The first slave hadn't gotten far up the beach before the second slave caught up to him. The second slave took 2 swings with the machete we had given him, both of which were blocked by the first slave's arms, nearly severing them both. Before he could take a third swing, the sniper hit him with a clean headshot and he dropped dead. The first slave then looked at his arms, saw them dangling there just below his elbows, and began to scream. It wasn't long before he went into shock and passed out, probably due to blood loss. This is where I thought the plan of Aurelius would fail. I believed the sniper would mercy kill the first slave rather than compromise his position in the mountains, but I was wrong. About 10 minutes later, the sniper appeared on the beach with first aid supplies in hand, and without his rifle. We were waiting for him under the water. 6 of us emerged to the surface with throwing spears in hand. The sniper pulled his sidearm and dropped 2 of us before our spears were in the air. Of the 4 spears that were thrown, only 2 hit him. 1 hit his left thigh, mine hit his right shoulder, causing him to drop his weapon. As we pulled our blades and charged up the beach, he pulled the spears out of his body to fight us back. The spear that was in his shoulder, he threw through the throat of the Legionnaire to my right. With the spear that had been in his thigh, he deflected the incoming attacks of the other 2 Legionnaires. I then realized I was no longer charging at the sniper, and my blade was at my side. I was just watching the scene unfold. I watched for what felt like an hour, though it couldn't have been more than 2 minutes. The sniper wasn't skilled in melee combat, but what he lacked in skill, he made up for in resilience. Plus he had the reach advantage of the spear. He sustained several laceration wounds from the circling Legionnaires before he lodged his spear in one of their chests, but this left him unarmed. At that point, I called for them to stop. They did, though they were breathing heavily, and neither seemed willing to let his guard down. So, I walked up to them. The wounded, unarmed sniper that had given us so much trouble, and my fellow Legionnaire. I then did what I had to do. I killed one of them. No, I'll never tell that to anyone. Yes, what about it? You think I'd betray the Legion? Do I look like a traitor to you? I might have said that. That's one way of looking at things. Think what you will. What can I tell you? A common misconception of the Legion is that Caesar's admiration of the Romans subjects us to obsolete methods of warfare. To the contrary, the Romans both innovated and utilized the most advanced warfare technology of their time. The Legion's best way of emulating the Roman Empire is to equip ourselves with the finest armaments available. Any of the great Roman emperors would chastise an army that paid homage to past greatness to the detriment of future victories. What can I tell you? That's one group I absolutely do not understand. They've got the best weapons and best armor in the entire Mojave. I've seen a gauze rifle rip the face off a Deathclaw. Yet they let the NCR embarrass them in Helios 1 and send them into hiding somewhere with their tails tucked between their legs. If the Legion had the gear the Brotherhood has, we would have taken the dam easily already. What can I tell you? What do you mean? Of course it bothers me, but it's a necessary evil. I know it's not ideal, but at least the Legion is up front with their practices. We're not like the NCR, where the slaves are deceptively called sharecroppers, or even citizens. What can I tell you? I don't like it downstairs. It's my dog, Gabriel. Antony's got him locked in a cage downstairs. I can't stand seeing him locked away like that, waiting to be killed. I used to keep him at the fort, and Antony would take care of him whenever I had to leave. Then he started mutating. I'm not sure what caused it. Hell, it could be anything out here. What I do know is that when Gabriel began growing those horns, Everyone got worried he was going feral. They wanted him away from Caesar as quickly as possible, so Antony brought him here and locked him up. They say the plan is to keep an eye on him. But I think they're waiting for a chance to kill him. I'm afraid they'll feed him to the behemoth whether or not he shows signs of ferity. Well, I can't do much. Antony knows I want the key to Gabriel's cage, so I can't exactly go sneaking around the fort trying to get it from him. If I actually tried to steal the key to Gabriel's cage, the Praetorians might view the action as insurrection and a threat to Caesar. I'd either get nailed to a cross, or I'd have to lay the entire fucking fort to waste. But if you were able to get close to Antony and steal the key from him, we could get Gabriel out and no one would suspect foul play. If you're telling the truth, I'll be forever grateful. That's not true for all of us. Caesar maintains a close inner circle of historians and advisors. I am now his advisor of counter-NCR sniper tactics. It would be a hypocritical rejection of humanity's pride if Caesar simultaneously fell victim to it through a refusal to accept the realities of war. So again, you seem misinformed. Caesar is surely skeptical of a slave army's ability to handle advanced war tech with responsibility. But that doesn't mean he's going to throw spears at the NCR the next time he attacks the dam. Valet.